Have you ever wondered why ice at the poles is melting at an alarming rate? Well, let's break it down. Our planet Earth has been experiencing a steady increase in its average temperature for more than a century now. This is what we commonly refer to as global warming, but what does this really mean? Imagine Earth as a giant greenhouse. A greenhouse works by letting sunlight in, which heats up the inside, while also trapping that heat to keep the inside warm. Our planet works in a similar way, where gases in our atmosphere, known as greenhouse gases, allow sunlight to enter but prevent some of the heat from escaping back into space. This natural process, known as the greenhouse effect, is essential for life on Earth. Without it, our planet would be too cold to support life as we know it. So the greenhouse effect in itself isn't the problem. The issue arises when the balance of these gases in our atmosphere is disrupted. Over the past century, human activities like burning fossil fuels for energy and deforestation have increased the concentration of these greenhouse gases, particularly carbon dioxide and methane. As a result, more heat is being trapped, causing our planet to warm up. This is the phenomenon we call global warming. Now, what does this have to do with the melting ice at the poles? Well, as the Earth's temperature increases, so does the temperature of the oceans. This causes the ice at the poles to melt at a faster rate than it can be replaced. This is why we're seeing a rapid decrease in the size of ice caps and glaciers around the world. It's important to note that global warming doesn't mean every place will be hotter all the time. It's about the average temperature of the entire planet, which includes the oceans, increasing over time. So global warming is not just a concept, but a reality that our planet is facing today. As we move forward, it's essential to understand the causes and effects of this warming world, so we can take steps to mitigate its impact. Now that we understand global warming, what happens when the Earth's temperature rises too much? Well, one of the most visible effects is the accelerated melting of ice at our planet's poles. It's a phenomenon that's as fascinating as it is concerning. Let's take a closer look. Imagine the Earth as a giant freezer. For millennia, this freezer has maintained a delicate balance, with new ice forming at about the same rate as old ice melts. This balance ensures that the polar ice caps, integral to our planet's climate system, persist. But what happens when we turn up the heat? As the Earth's temperature rises due to global warming, this balance gets disrupted. The ice starts to melt faster than it can be replaced. It's like your ice cubes melting in a hot drink, only on a planetary scale. This accelerated melting isn't a normal or sustainable process, but why does it matter, you might ask? Well, the polar ice caps act like a giant mirror, reflecting some of the sun's heat back into space. When ice melts, it reveals the darker water, or land beneath, which absorbs more heat, leading to further warming. This is what scientists call a positive feedback loop, although its effects are anything but positive. Moreover, melting ice contributes to sea level rise. Both the Arctic and Antarctic ice sheets hold vast quantities of frozen water. If all this ice were to melt, sea levels could rise by a staggering 200 feet. Now, that's not going to happen overnight, but even a small rise can have serious implications for coastal communities around the world. It's important to remember that this isn't a hypothetical scenario. The ice is melting, and it's melting fast. Satellite data and field measurements show that the rate of ice loss has more than doubled over the past 2 decades. The melting ice is a clear and present danger resulting from the rising temperatures of our planet. And it's something we all need to pay attention to because, like it or not, we're all in this together. Why should we care about melting ice caps and glaciers? Great question. Let's delve into it. Imagine waking up one day to find your city submerged in water. A chilling thought, isn't it? Well, this could soon be a reality for many coastal cities worldwide. Melting ice caps and glaciers contribute to rising sea levels, threatening to drown low-lying areas. From Miami to Mumbai, millions of people could be displaced, losing their homes, their livelihoods, their history. But the consequences don't stop there. Rising sea levels could also lead to more frequent and severe coastal flooding, increasing erosion and causing destructive storm surges. The damage to infrastructure and property could be astronomical, not to mention the significant threat to human lives. And let's not forget about our non-human friends. The melting ice is causing a loss of habitats for many species, from the polar bears in the Arctic to the penguins in the Antarctic. This loss of habitat can lead to a decrease in biodiversity, disrupting ecosystems and potentially leading to the extinction of these species. Moreover, the melting ice is not just a problem for those who live near the coasts or the poles. This phenomenon can affect weather patterns and even alter ocean currents, impacting agriculture and fisheries worldwide. Our food supply could be at risk. Ignoring this problem could lead to catastrophic consequences. We're talking about a chain reaction that could potentially change the face of the Earth as we know it. It's like a domino effect, each falling domino representing a new, unimaginable consequence of global warming and ice melting. So why should we care? Because the stakes are high. Our homes, our food, our wildlife, and our very existence are at risk. The melting ice is not just an environmental issue. It's a humanitarian crisis, and it's happening right now in our lifetime. The consequences of ice melting are far-reaching and could potentially change the face of the Earth as we know it. And unless we act now, these consequences could become our harsh reality. Is there anything we can do to slow down or prevent this process? You may ask. The answer is an emphatic yes. As we've seen, human activities significantly contribute to global warming and ice melting. But on the flip side, this also means that we have the power to make a difference. Our first step is to understand our role in this process. Every day, our activities produce greenhouse gases, which trap heat in our atmosphere and warm our planet. This happens when we drive our cars, power our homes, or even throw away food. And while some of these activities are unavoidable, there are many ways we can reduce our emissions. For example, we can choose to drive less and walk or cycle more. We can also make our homes more energy efficient by insulating them properly or using energy-saving appliances. And let's not forget about reducing, reusing, and recycling. These simple actions can significantly cut down the amount of waste we produce and the energy we use. But our responsibility doesn't stop at reducing our own emissions. We also have a role to play in advocating for more sustainable practices on a larger scale. This could mean supporting renewable energy projects, pushing for stricter environmental regulations, or raising awareness about the impacts of global warming. Educating others about the reality of global warming and ice melting is crucial. Many people are unaware of the severity of this issue, and raising awareness can lead to more people taking action. Use your voice to spread the word, whether it's through social media, community events, or conversations with friends and family. Finally, remember that every little bit helps. Even small changes in our daily lives can add up to make a big difference. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the scale of global warming, but don't let that discourage you. Instead, let it motivate you to take action. Because at the end of the day, each and every one of us has a role to play in combating global warming and ice melting. So let's step up and take responsibility for our planet. It's the only one we've got. Now that we understand the problem and its potential consequences, what's next? We've journeyed through the warming world and observed the melting ice. We've delved into the stark realities of global warming and its undeniable effects. We've seen how the rapidly melting ice caps and glaciers contribute to rising sea levels, threatening coastal communities and ecosystems worldwide. We've also explored the wider implications of these changes, from intensified weather patterns to loss of habitat for polar creatures. But it doesn't stop there. We've also examined our role and responsibility in this unfolding story. We've recognized that our daily actions, from the energy we consume to the waste we produce, have a direct impact on the health of our planet. We've acknowledged that we are not powerless bystanders, but active participants with the ability to affect change. So what's next? It's time for action. Understanding is the first step, but it must be followed by tangible efforts. We can make more sustainable choices in our everyday lives, opt for renewable energy sources, reduce our consumption, reuse where possible, and recycle diligently. Small steps, when taken by many, can lead to significant changes, but our responsibility doesn't end with our personal actions. We need to spread awareness about global warming and ice melting, share the knowledge we've gained, reach out to your friends, your family, your community, advocate for policies that prioritize the environment and hold corporations accountable for their impact on our world. Every voice counts. Every action matters. We have the power to shape the future, to steer our planet away from the brink of irreversible damage. It's a daunting task, yes, but also a noble one. A task that we, as inhabitants of Earth, owe to ourselves and to the generations yet to come. Remember, the future of our planet is in our hands. Let's act now to protect it.